Hello, hello, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me on today's lesson about being open-minded. Being open-minded means being willing to consider new ideas, being less judgmental and more inquisitive, more introspective and more considerate. Open-minded people can be seen as more honest and reliable since they tend to consider multiple perspectives before reaching a decision. There are many benefits of being open-minded, and here are just a few. Becoming more insightful about different beliefs, lifestyles, and cultures in the world, gaining empathy for other people even if you have little in common, developing the ability to self reflect and think more carefully about your own experiences, thoughts, and decisions, boosting your confidence in your own beliefs and ideas, building mental strength and reasoning skills, improving your ability to be more realistic or optimistic, and being more honest about your emotions with others and with yourself. And that's a really key point to think about. Are you truly honest with yourself? Think about that. There are plenty of ways to become open minded. Here is a framework of 10 steps to help you become more open minded. Number one, be aware of your biases. It's really important to be aware of your own biases and how they impact your life. As the saying goes, you can't fix a problem unless you know you have a problem. Here are 5 cognitive biases that can mess up your decisions. So, cognitive bias is a logical pattern of deviation from the norm or the rationality in judgment. It is a mistake of remembering or another cognitive process that often occurs as a result of holding on to one's predilection and conviction regardless of inconsistent information. Number 1, anchoring bias or focalism is that people are heavily dependent on the first piece of information they hear, which becomes the anchor in making decisions. This cognitive bias occurs when an individual uses an initial piece of information to make the following judgment. For instance, in a salary negotiation, the first step to make an offer can set a range of reasonable possibilities on the person's mind. Number 2, confirmation bias, or the so called my side bias, is the tendency to search or listen to information which confirms your perception. It is a type of cognitive bias and a systematic error of inductive reasoning. This occurs when a person gathers or remembers information selectively or they interpret it in a biased way. Number 3, the bandwagon effect is a kind of cognitive bias is a psychological phenomenon wherein people uptake beliefs, ideas, fads, and trends increases regardless of whether it's right or wrong towards their own beliefs. This effect is defined by the possibility of individual ratification increasing with respect to the proportion who have already done it so. In sports, this effect can be seen as the people who supported Golden State despite not having an interest in the team before they became champions in late 2015 NBA Finals. They can be considered as a bandwagon fan. Survivorship is a form of selection bias. It is a logical error wherein people focus only on things or people that made it past some selection process and overlooking those that did not, usually because of their lack of visibility. In finance, failed companies are being excluded from the performance studies because of the fact that they no longer exist. Number 5, it is a mental shortcut that has tendencies to overestimate the importance of information that is available to them when they are evaluating a specific topic, decision, or concept. For instance, you know someone who is an alcoholic, but he lived to 100 years old. This would give an idea that drinking alcoholic drinks is not unhealthy. Number 2, consider the opposite viewpoint. Open mindedness involves being able to question not just others, but also yourself. Think about topics that you have strong opinions about, and then imagine the perspective of someone on the other side of the argument. Try to think of at least 3 reasons someone might hold this opposing view. You might also consider reading a news article or a book about someone who believes something that's opposing, who believes this opposing view. Being able to imagine another side's perspective, even if you continue to hold your previous beliefs, helps you to see the topic in a more nuanced way and become more open-minded when considering other subjects. Number 3, practice generous interpretation. Generous interpretation is the process of assuming that people have good intentions. It goes beyond simply considering someone else's point of view and actively searching for positive justifications for their actions. For example, if a coworker does something that upsets you, think about the situation from their perspective. Consider what their motivation might be or what else might be happening in their life that affects their action. The most generous interpretation would assume the coworker meant well or was preoccupied with other things, even if their actions were upsetting. It's okay to still acknowledge your negative feelings because of this coworker's actions while trying to practice sympathy for them. Number 4, ask questions. Open minded people tend to ask questions rather than offer their own opinion or argue. You can practice asking more questions during almost any conversation. For example, if a coworker is talking about a hobby you have never tried, ask them for more details about it and how they or what about it they enjoy. You can ask more questions about more emotionally charged topics as well. If a coworker starts talking about a political topic you have opposing views on, ask questions about their views rather than debating them. Seek to learn instead of immediately being defensive about your own opinions. If you decide to debate the coworker at a later date, you both can have a more complex conversation about the issue rather than simply arguing. Number 5, think about the neutral viewpoint. Try brainstorming the potential reasons for a neutral viewpoint on a controversial topic. You could also ask a friend if you could talk about this issue while they simply listen and summarize what you say. This technique of having someone else repeat your words back to you can help you see a situation more objectively. Number 6, make new connections. Connecting with people who have a variety of perspectives on life is a good way to become more open minded. Seek connections with people you may not often encounter or interact with for a prolonged period. For example, you could invite a coworker to lunch because you've never spent time with them outside of work before. Even if you have very little in common, take the opportunity to learn more about their interests and personality. Number 7, experience different media. Considering other perspectives can become easier when we know more about the people who we might have those perspectives. Reading books, watching movies, listening to podcasts, or experiencing other types of media and art can help us imagine or sympathize with different viewpoints. Look for media and art created by or about people with different views or experiences. For example, you can read a book written by someone from a different religion or watch a television show about people from another country. Number 8, join a new group. Changing how your mind works can be easier if you have a support system. One way to create this support system is to become involved with an open minded group or organization. You might join a reading diversity challenge at your local library or bookstore. There may be a nonpartisan organization where people with various political views can come together to talk, organize, and help others become informed about topics such as voting rights. If your supervisor approves, you could even start a group at your workplace. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you don't have to join a group if you don't want to, but what matters is the growth potential from joining a group. You grow, learn, and change when you are outside of your comfort zone. I'm going to say that again. You grow, learn, and change when you are outside of your comfort zone. So I challenge you to find something that pushes you outside of your comfort zone and is something you know would be really good for you. Number 9, reframe negative thoughts. Open minded people are typically more realistic or optimistic in their outlook. Try to be aware of when your mind immediately reaches a negative decision or conclusion. See if you can alter that negative thought and take a more neutral approach to a situation. For example, if you feel that a work task is impossible, try to think about the task as a challenge. Consider other obstacles you've overcome and what they have taught you. Acknowledge that it's okay to not fully succeed if you have done your personal best. Number 10, acknowledge you are learning. Admitting when you are wrong can be challenging, but the ability to acknowledge your mistakes can help you become more open minded. Realizing that your ideas could be incorrect can help you figure out how to learn from the experience and do better in the future. When someone helps you change your mind on a subject, show appreciation and thank them for putting the time and effort to help you open your mind and educate yourself. Growth mindset. This is about developing a growth mindset, letting go of the old parts of yourself that are holding you back and reprogramming your mind to get the results you want. A growth mindset includes embracing challenges. It includes keep going despite setbacks and failures. See effort as the path to mastery. Being keen to learn and develop. Accept and learn from constructive criticism. And being inspired and motivated by the successes of others. Action step. So, how open minded are you? Based on what you've learned, what areas of open mindedness need improvement? Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most open minded. Where do you fall on the scale? Identify 3 small steps you can take to help increase your current level of open mindedness. As the quote says, if we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. Thank you for joining me on this lesson. I hope you found it helpful. As always, remember to choose love. You are loved. Have a lovely day.